It looks like we are live. All right. Good evening and welcome to the April 8th board meeting of 2025. I will call us to order at 7 p.m. You can look at the description on the live screen. And on that description, you will find a link to both the agenda for this evening as well as the Google form to fill out to get voting rights for this meeting. The first thing we want to go over tonight is to recap off-cycle board actions and votes. One thing happened during the convention. Basically, we received a request to donate duplicate board game inventory that we had to Anime Fargo for their charity auction, and we did vote to allow that to happen. So I guess we need to ratify that vote, the meeting. So can I please have a second?
I'll second.
And then all in favor? Okay. Thank you very much. That is ratified. We do not have any planned discussions from scheduled visiting parties or ATC partners. So we'll go along and move on to coordinator updates. For charities, I did send off a reminder email to AUSM. We had signed up to do an event in May, and I just hadn't heard anything back from them yet, but it might be too early for that. That's about it for charities. For special events, the Cherry Blossom Festival is coming up May 3rd. There is a link on the agenda so you can find out more information about it. It's pretty small. It's at Como Park. It's free. But we'll have a couple people there to hang out with the ambassador. Then we can go ahead and give it over to JC, our anime detour coordinator.
Hey, we had a convention. I will say the perspective from the chairman is slightly weird, but obviously my experience is not the most critical one. From the vast majority of words back from staff and attendees so far, it seems to be a great success. So very proud of what we managed to put together, what the staff all came together and did. I think we did a very good job. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. We got a year to prepare for 2026.
Just unmuting myself. Just wanting to put it on the radar if we do go into negotiating for additional space. Just want to put on the radar. Can we just get an idea of what the cost difference would be for doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday versus Thursday through Sunday for the second venue? If we do that.
We can. That is really there's a lot of questions right now in that whole process, so it's not a question I can really give a very good answer to.
It's more so just to ask to put on the radar if
Yeah.
we can get that.
No, and I am well aware of the benefits of extending our days if that is a possibility. So.
Then we'll go on to the finance updates. Jeanette is out of state for the night, so I am going to read the bank account balances. We have the business checking account at $345,341.79. The first savings account is at $3,098.37, and the second savings account is at $14,507.26. And that is all for, well, it's on the agenda for next month, but basically we'll be doing an annual report next month for finances. 8 days after the convention was just not enough time. So then we will go ahead and shoot it over to our communications coordinator, Michaela, if you have anything for us.
Howdy, I do not have anything new at this time.
Perfect. Didn't think there was a ton going on. Okay. So then the next thing on the agenda is a 15-minute break. I vote to skip this. Can I get a second?
Me.
All in favor? Beautiful. All right, thank you so much. Then the next topic is election preparation. So we have out there that we want people to email us by May 1st to let us know if they would like to run for the board. Does that sound accurate? Yes. I don't know why the film said I was questioning. So basically, the one thing I wanted to talk about was attendance, because meeting attendance is how we determine if you're a voting member or not. So I'm gonna go back into the history. In the long ago, 5-ish years, we the elections took place at the postmortem. Therefore, the postmortem wouldn't count towards attendance rights because it happened at the same time. So it literally couldn't. But that did change a while ago because we made it so that we can no longer have the elections and the postmortem at the same time. Last year, we never received the attendance for the postmortem. So we ended up just not counting that. We were given other reasons why it shouldn't count, but it didn't count last year. I don't know if it counted the year before or not. I didn't dig into it deep, and I'm not sure if we have like the records saved somewhere to be easily able to find what happened to you. So I feel like we could count it if we want to. There are just That's the history. What do you guys think?
I
Yeah.
see no issue with counting it, especially now that it's no longer held at the same time as the together with the ATC and they're no longer mixed. So I don't see there being any reason why they can't be held or counted towards attendance. So I'm in favor of it. Bruce, go ahead.
Yes, Bruce.
Yes, a general question. Is there any input from the chair team / coordinator on their thoughts?
It's not been a topic of discussion. This is a pretty exclusively ATC operation. It is, how the board is selected. So I have my personal feelings, but I think the more appropriate thing to do is refrain from any comment and let the ATC board decide for itself.
I thought this was saying more so in regards to if letting the postmortem count for attendance.
I suppose that is kind of a detour meeting, more specifically than an ATC meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I was asking for if there was any thoughts from your perspective there.
Yeah. So again, didn't discuss it with the chair team, so I'm not going to represent it as our opinion as much as mine. I think it makes sense to count.
Okay. Allie?
Yeah, I think it absolutely makes sense to count. It is, as mentioned, a detour meeting. Therefore, it's a meeting of that coordinator, so it should count. Plus, it's one that has a lot of active participation in that branch of the organization. As mentioned, I hope it's separate from the other things, and just attending the postmortem and nothing else is not enough to get you attendance for voting rights. So I see no reason why it shouldn't count.
Other thing is, so like if it counts, then it needs to be a public meeting. Do we perceive the postmortem as a public meeting, or is it something that's invite only to staff that was at the convention? And does that count?
Good point.
Bruce, your hand.
I'm going to say that should only be staff only. And this is just more so from what previous precedents and other things that coming out of the track where this should not be a public meeting. I'll be 100% honest.
Yeah, I would echo that as well. The postmortem, we've been debating it, but it's quite possible we're not going to stream it too. So that really does impair the ability of people who aren't local. It is a staff meeting for staff purposes. It is a little different than our meetings that are more about announcing things that are for staff primarily, but in which we're happy to have the public know what we're doing as well. So yeah, I do think that is a pretty good consideration.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say that is actually a fair point where I said I couldn't think of a reason. That's a good reason. I just hadn't thought of it. So
Same. Totally didn't take that into consideration. No, that does make sense. Yeah. I suppose I didn't realize that only the meetings that were public counted. It makes sense now that I'm
And
thinking
I guess
about it,
I don't actually. Is that? I feel like it is, but I don't.
but would have to check.
And I
I
want
would
to
feel
say
like
the
that
general
makes
consensus
sense because
for
you
at
you can
least
be an ATC member without being a member of staff. So if we had a super dedicated, say, volunteer or just attendee who came to every meeting but never actually signed up to be staff, they could still be a voting member.
True.
But then if we want to have it staff only for this meeting, that would exclude that specific person.
Right. That makes sense. And that's also probably why it still stayed as a not counting meeting. So workshopped that. Bruce, you were saying something at the same time as Allie, though.
this was more of a. Okay, so what I was saying. Come back to me.
Okay. I'm trying to find. No, not meeting agenda. What is that? Nick, go ahead.
And the bylaws that were updated recently. I remember, I think it's in section 2.2, but it notes that meetings must be published on the ATC calendar and open to the public in terms of meeting requirements.
Okay, cool. That's what I was trying to find, and I was scrambling. So yes, perfect. Then, in light of that, I think they should stay as they are because it doesn't make sense to have the postmortem meeting open to the general public because the general public has no say in what happened at Detour if they aren't staff. So
We're not going to count postmortem for attendance then.
Okay.
no, keeping it
Okay.
like it is. Bruce, go ahead. Do you remember?
Yes. Now, my question this. I can't remember what I was going to say in regards to when Elliot started speaking, but different question is if we aren't streaming, what deadline would the chair team like any feedback sent by?
So I'm just going to say stand by on that. We do think we're going to have a remote option, but we're figuring out the logistics of it. So yeah.
That's fine. I more so.
Yeah, this wouldn't be a YouTube live stream. It would be more like a private meeting.
Okay.
So,
Like a Zoom or something like that.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. I can probably guarantee you I will be working most likely during that. Still just want to know what kind of time frame. I do have a one-on-one for other stuff scheduled beforehand, so at least info should trickle up, but just want to make sure what if there was a deadline, what that was. So.
I think I can say more broadly too, just, send an email to the chair team around that time also works.
do we think there's anything else we need to talk about getting ready for elections? I feel like that was the only point that I wanted to bring up.
Did
Anything
we want
else?
to go over what information and what they need to submit if they are interested?
I mean, basically, at this time, all we need is saying, hey, I'm interested in running for the board. And then we'll follow up to get more information later.
Okay.
That is what we're looking for. We've got 3 spots open, so we would love to have people apply for them. All right.
Is that-
Then
What's the email or how should they reach out?
I'm sorry. Yeah. ATC board at animetwincities.org. It is on the meeting agenda at the bottom. So then the next item I have is the coordinator review progress update. And Nick, I know you've kind of been handling it. You kind of gave me an update, but do you want to give an update?
Yeah, I can give an update. I think it was not this last Monday I sent a reminder, but the previous Monday I sent out requests for review for the anime detour chair, so JC, and for Michaela in terms of the communications coordinator. So I just sent asking for peer reviews as well as a self-assessment and list of goals for the following operating cycle or year. That's in progress. We've gotten a fair amount of responses back, but that's still something that I'm working on and that will ideally close or I'll stop requesting. I still haven't gotten it by, I think it'd be the 14th is what I've said, April 14th. After that point, we'll work on writing up a comprehensive assessment, taking in the feedback that we received from everyone that we reached out to. So that's the status. Is still working and following up with people to get feedback, but and it should be done ideally by the 14th.
Okay. And then just so you know, everyone that got those emails, department heads, it's optional, but send it to us. Board members, not optional. It's our job. We got to do it. All right. Don't. Yes. Okay. Okay. So those are the final topics. So what we want to go ahead and do is open it up to open session if anyone has any questions. And we have started a new rule. If you have a question, please state your first and last name and then ask your question. That is all. That is different, is we just want to know who you are, but besides your username, if you have a question. And while we're waiting to see if any questions come in for the next upcoming meetings, as I mentioned, next month we're planning on doing the financial report. We are still working on a board training policy. It kind of got pushed back, and the rental request policy. And then, of course, as we know, elections are coming. Not seeing anything in the chat yet. Just Lori saying hi to everybody. Hi, Lori. We'll just give that a minute or so here. Really get like a soundboard for this. Play some Jeopardy music.
If we switch to different platforms, you would be surprised what's available.
Seems like so much work. Not necessary.
As long as it's not the Wii music again, we'll be fine.
And that's the best music. I just started to think that in my head. Everyone likes it.
I've got better remixes of stuff from back in the day. So.
Balatro music is very soothing,
Ooh. I've heard good things. I feel like
that rabbit hole again.
yeah,
oh,
I
I
get
am
too addicted to that game.
So I'm not seeing anything in chat either. So
I think we can go ahead and call to conclude the meeting for the evening. What's the right word?
Do we want
adjourn?
Do we want to bring up any of the policy updates or any of the items on that? I did have a couple of questions in regard to board training and then the rental policy.
Okay. Yeah.
We can touch on it.
If you got questions, let's go.
Only question I had, when we did the initial pass through, did we get any feedback sent in on that yet or not? I don't remember seeing anything.
In regards to which one?
For the rental policy, for the first draft.
Got it.
I know we had feedback at the meeting. I just wasn't sure if we had anything in writing.
I haven't submitted anything in writing. I know all of mine were just in the meeting, and then technically they're kind of in writing. I don't know how much of it made it into board notes, but
notes were really well documented as to what the issues were with it. So I would suggest just going back to that meeting notes to review.
I can just resend the notes to you and Cass from that meeting. Kept a pretty detailed
appreciate
notes.
that just because I need to knock off the rest a little bit because I don't remember everything that was covered and I didn't know if there was a separate document that we had. So I would appreciate it. Thank you. And then switching to some of the board training stuff, do we want to put any prioritization into getting training done so we look into actual better understanding of fundraising and then also working towards potentially seeking grants? To help offset any budgetary increases or any, with the current state of what is going on economically with political situation, any additional money that we can potentially get to help offset increased costs is always a good thing. Because
Yeah,
I do know that the nonprofit Ready has that we did the essentials has additional pathways for that stuff. So
For me, like grants always feel weird since we donate money. So like why are we accepting donations for us to then just donate it out? But maybe that's not the point. I don't.
the point
That's
is,
just what my brain thinks.
yeah, no, the point is for the grants and stuff is to seek money so we can put on a better event. Because there are organizations and other stuff that may support the mission of what ATC is as a whole. And if we apply, it gets well written oversight. It's like, hey, it's free money.
I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know anything about it. I know with the board training, we'd all, I believe, taken a really basic, this is what a board does training. And then we were going to write a policy about like having everyone after they're elected take that training. And then it just got pushed off because there's other things happening. So I know that website has more than one training module, so we can certainly look at.
I am just now pulling it up, and I'm like, let's see what we have on this thing. But no, I'm totally on board with looking into and seeing what other things on this the nonprofitready.org
Yeah,
is
because it was more so just as we go into this be considered fiscal year 2026, I guess, in terms of business speak, of anything that we want to put on a wish list or something that we want to try to develop.
Yeah. They have a whole. Let me share my screen. Hold on just a second. Where are you? There we go. So they have a whole thing just right here at the bottom for essential fundraising and then grant seeking, as well as management essentials, marketing essentials, general board member essentials. So yeah, I think that that would be a good resource for us. So yeah, I have no problems with doing that and seeing if there's anything that we can do. It's not for next month because there's already so much big things on next month, but June is June the month after that. I don't even know what month we're in. We're April, May, yeah, June. Following up in June, I think would be good. Give us all time to decide which modules we want to go through and go from there. Anything else? No? Anything in the comments since we've been talking?
They just applied a definition as to what someone was asking in regards to when I mentioned political. So.
Okay.
We can go ahead and call to adjourn the meeting at 7:24 p.m. Can I get a second?
I will second.
And beautiful. All in favor? Wonderful. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.